You're listening to the Next Team podcast. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Next Team Cricket episode 10. And it's obviously a landmark episode, it being the 10th episode on our cricket series. And what better way to celebrate it than to talk about the massive win for the Dad's Army. And of course, if you're watching this episode, it's probably been 1 or 2 days after CSK's massive win over KKR, and with Dhoni collecting his fourth IPL title. And before we unpack the match itself, Tarun, please do your thing.
As usual, if you're listening to us, we really appreciate all your support. Please do check us out. Follow us on Instagram. We are there at the Next Team SG. And also, while you're at it, follow us on TikTok. We're also there at the Next Team SG. And do check us out on YouTube. And please do subscribe to us. Also, do follow us on Spotify. We are on both these places as the Next Team podcast. And all our links will be provided in our descriptions.
Yep. And okay, let's just get into the thick of things. So obviously we were put into bet. What was your first of all, when you lost the toss, what was your thinking? Do you all think that the toss was going to determine the match?
I did. Because both teams, were very good chasing sides. And it was a very scary moment for sure when we lost the toss.
Yeah. I mean, I think I felt the same as well. I thought the moment we lost, I saw the bowling. I mean, I had a conversation with my grandfather. Actually, he was telling me that Andre Russell was fit, which I had no idea about. So I thought he was going to come in on the night of the final. Thankfully, he didn't. I think he could have actually made a difference. Actually,
probably could
have, but it would have been a 50-50 call, because why would you want to change a winning combination? That's also that.
Also, the thing about rushing him back to fitness is a bit of a risk given the World Cup is coming. And I mean, given how bad their middle order performed, even if Russell played like a 50 of like 20, right, they probably still have lost. Like given how quickly they lost their wickets.
Probably. But I mean, also you never know, because they are long overdue scores as well. If someone were to give that extra boost, because if you think about the match itself, right, they were nowhere close to actually chasing down a total. In terms of the middle order, I'm talking about middle order. Top order, they've always been class, but middle order definitely it's been something that especially recently they tend to bottle chases in some sense. But let's get into the match itself. So we were put into bet, and I saw a stat before the match started that if Rutu and Duplessis actually get a 50 partnership without losing a wicket, we tend to win 100% of our matches, I think, this season, if I'm not wrong. That's the stat I saw. So the moment they crossed 50, I knew that we probably have a very, very good chance given our recent history. But cricket is a funny game. Sometimes stats are not the best barometers of how the outcome of a match can be determined. But it's okay. Yeah, I mean, it was a very, very good start by CSK. Either of you guys can take us through the start by both these amazing batsmen.
Yes, of course. So I mean, Rutu, he started off the way he's gone throughout the tournament. He's been so dominant against the spinners. It's honestly quite amazing to watch. He can play off the back foot. He can step out of the spinner, and he can sweep the spinner. I mean, he swept Shakib like first over. I mean, that takes guts.
I mean, it's a beautiful shot. Yeah.
It was but like usually, like you see a batsman take a few balls, knock it down, to long on, long off, and then play the sweep. But he's so confident right now that he's just seeing it so well. And he gave us a good start. Faf, to be honest, at the start looked quite shaky, and on another day he could have been out for 2 quite easily. But Agent Dinesh coming in clutch for CSK. And with a few contributions, of course, by Chakravarti down in the death overs. But I mean, it's experience, honestly. Like the last 2 finals we won was because of Shane Watson, obviously that brilliant 100, and then today I think it's Faf's amazing knock and just the way he went about it.
And Arjun, you finally got a prediction correct.
Yes, thank you. Finally,
good job.
Feels good.
Finally. I mean, mine was thrown out of the window the moment they scored 190, because I said it was going to be a low scoring game. I don't. Okay, but I think Tarun came close to his prediction as well. As we look at Uthappa, Yeah, since you talked about it, Tarun, take us through Uttappa's knock.
I still don't think I was wrong because
Yeah, I don't think you were wrong as well. Yeah.
yeah, Uttappa's knock was very, very crucial for us, I think. Normally when the opener gets out, it can be a bit normal for the run rate to slow down, but Uttappa did not let that happen. He came in, he kept the runs coming, had some brilliant shots as well.
Class. Absolute class.
It's a proper class. So it wasn't a big score. He got a 31 or 15, but strike rate wise, he did exactly what he was supposed to do at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And that also let Faf get into the game a bit more, which I think that was probably one of the main reasons why Faf could stand and bat until the very last ball.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Because I think once you're a set batsman, right, if your other players are not actually striking the ball at the rate that is required, you tend to take a lot more pressure on yourself, and then the dot balls pile up, and then which will force you to make a mistake. But because Uttappa was holding one end, I think Faf found it a lot easier to play. Or rather take time to settle, because these guys coming in were just looking to hit the balls out of the park. And I think some of the shots Uttappa played was an absolute class. Some of the was it against? There was one against Narayan, I think, and there was one against. He hit 3 sixes, I remember, but there was one against. I think it was one Chakravarti six, one Narayan six, and someone else. But it was. I mean, these KKR's so-called strength is their spin. 12 overs was spin in a match, and yeah, I think that has been like the hallmark of their success this season. But I thought we weren't too the key reason why we did so well in the first innings was because we weren't too timid. We didn't let their bowlers dictate the game per se. We were determined to play the game on our own terms, and no matter who the bowler was, of course we had to respect the good balls. But even if they made I think CSK took calculated risks, more of a percentage game, and I think the risks they took actually paid dividends in the end. So yeah, I look at their bowlers, right? I think all of them. Chakravarti has, if I'm not wrong, in the UAE league, he hasn't conceded more than 26 runs in his quota of overs. And today he managed. I mean, rather yesterday he managed to concede 38 runs.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's just
those small moments though. I mean, up until the point he bowled the no ball, he was bowling beautifully. And I think after that, it was just like a switch was flicked, and then he just kept getting pummeled. I mean, Uttappa abused their leg side boundary like anything against all of their so-called, I guess, their premier spinners.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit to do with the fact that Dubai's pitch was, I think, a lot better for batsmen compared to Sharjah.
Yeah.
And I think if I can give you an analogy, it's like bowling with the gutters up, and then suddenly the next game you don't have those gutters anymore. And yeah, I think it's a very bit of a reality check. They were helped by the conditions, and I mean they did turn around their form, but I think today they just got beaten by the better team.
Yeah, definitely. And also I think on that part you talked about experience, right? I think that then comes to the fray, because I talked about having a low score in these kind of games. Perhaps a younger team, I know you talk about no fear cricket, but also there's also a sense of irresponsibility towards youngsters, which you do not have necessarily with your old timers, because they have been there, done that, so they know exactly what you need to do in a pressure situation. And yeah, I mean, they may not always have the skill set to execute it as they did, but in this particular match, I think all of them did their part. I mean, we didn't even get to see Dhoni bat. That was how good the batting was.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even need to have Jadeja to come in, and he's been our informed finisher.
Yeah,
it shows how dominant we've been.
Pretty much, yeah. And I mean, I also want to talk about Moeen Ali's brilliant cameo, 37 or 20. Who I said was initially struggling with his first three balls. Yeah, he was. But then he got that 90-meter six against, I think it was, if I'm not wrong, was Shivan Mavi or Lockie Ferguson. Oh, by the way, Lockie Ferguson hit a 50, guys.
Yeah, Faf abused him.
He was getting pummeled.
Did you remember the one where he went on one knee and just hit this inside-out shot over extra cover?
Oh my god, it's brilliant. 6 over extra for Lockie. Is bowling at 150, and he was bowling good pace.
Good pace.
150.
I don't
When
know
when a
how.
guy bowls when a guy bowls a cherry at 150 clicks and you hit him for 6 over cover, I mean mind-boggling. How is that guy not in the South African national team? It's beyond me.
How is Narayan not in West Indies? I mean, a lot of boggling selection issues, I think,
Yeah,
for
I
this
mean,
edition especially. Yeah.
is Wayne Bravo in, by the way? I'm not too
I
sure about
am
it.
not too sure.
Yeah, okay,
I
we can
mean,
check that.
I
We will
know
get to
Gale is
that in
in.
the World Cup review.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
yeah, good point, good point. But yeah, looking at the bowling, I think okay, Narayan turned up again. 2 for 26, the pick of the bowlers.
As
Hmm.
usual.
But everyone else had an economy rate. Okay, Venkatesh Iyer 1 over 5 runs. I think
Yeah.
again, I mean, probably shows why we probably have him as the net bowler in the Indian national team. He is useful, giving KKR handy overs, which also begs the question why couldn't they
Why they
use
didn't bowl
him
him more, right?
more? But because he hasn't actually bowled all that bad throughout the tournament. He has always been very consistent with his line and length.
I was expecting him to get another over in, to be honest. The way he went
Hmm.
about, the pace off.
I did not expect Ferguson to finish his 4 overs the
Same,
way he
same.
was
Yeah,
bowling.
The way he was
I think
traveling, right?
yeah, I think it's a fair call. I think it's a fair call. But okay, yeah, I just want to just before we move on to KKR's innings, I just want to talk about Moeen Ali. I think he mentioned in the post-match interview about how any other team he would have been dropped, and he just I mean everyone was saying the same things about what a great atmosphere Dhoni creates, the whole leadership group within the team creates, this amount of security feel. I mean, some guy like Moeen Ali, if he had it been any other name, let's say RCB for example,
I
he
mean,
would have been,
he had a torrid time in RCB.
yeah,
He was at
he would
RCB the
have,
previous season, and it was absolutely
exactly,
bad experience for
yeah,
him.
yeah. So I mean, end of the day, I believe in this model for franchise cricket. I think you need to have an atmosphere where your players are comfortable, where there's open communication, as they spoke in the post match interview. I think it's a great team to be part of, even if you're a water boy, right? Holding, I mean, I think at some point you feel a part of the team
I
if you
mean,
have such
yeah.
an atmosphere.
I mean, the fact that Uthappa played those 2 knocks just shows that even those people who are out of the squad feel welcome and they feel like they can contribute, and that's very important because it's those players that are not playing that you need to kind of create that wider feeling of security. And yeah, I mean, I think this match and this whole playoff stage has exemplified what CSK is about. And you do not see Uthappa playing those knocks for any other franchise. I think that's pretty certain to say. Like
Maybe KKR,
but not at this
but
age. I mean,
yeah, okay, not at this age, definitely, yeah.
I don't think anybody would have given him that license to go out and express himself. Especially, I mean, it was a big call to drop Raina. I know they said that he had an injury, but they could have always brought him back in. But they gave Uthappa that rope, to go out, and even after the first 2 games where he didn't look all really that good. I mean, the way he turned it around, I mean, yeah, that shows how CSK
Yeah, I think it's
operates.
just simple psychology. When you feel secure, right, the player feels like they owe it to the team that they need to perform. I mean, it's whether you take it as an added pressure or more of like
Privilege.
privilege and a determination to actually do well for the team. But I think that's why we see so many players like Moeen Ali, for example, a prime example of to see how despite a torrid time at the bat, he's able to repay the faith. So yeah, I mean, brilliant, amazing captaincy, amazing leadership group within the team. Okay, so let's now move on to the KKR innings. Okay, so right at the top, of course, we have our two boys, big man Shubman and Venkatesh Iyer. Actually, the other way around. I think Venkatesh Iyer is a big man. He's a big boy, yeah. But I think, I mean, what a knock both of these guys played, actually. Yeah, brilliant to watch from. Even as a CSK fan, I thought both of them played brilliantly, especially Venkatesh Iyer. I mean, his no nonsense, no fear attitude. It's just brilliant to watch. I mean, no respect for any of the bowlers. Jadeja was getting sent left, right, center, and at some point, all of us were thinking I was saying it's going to go down to the wire. Our group was sort of exploding in the sense that
everyone was saying good night by over
good
10. I was confused. I think
Yeah,
maybe they thought it was T10. I don't know. But
yeah, it was 91 for all those. I think it's fair to say that people. It's all right. People. Okay, maybe it's not a.
it wasn't
foregone
ideal.
conclusion.
It wasn't ideal
Definitely,
for us.
the momentum was shifting towards them 100%. Like it was their game to lose. Okay, okay, that's too much of a statement to
No,
make.
no,
I would
no,
say the momentum was slightly in their favor. Yeah, I think that's a
Yeah,
fair call.
fair enough.
Yeah. So from there, what happened was let's talk about the first catch, the first wicket that should have been.
Ah,
Uh,
Okay.
Tarun, please
Yeah.
take us through your emotions.
Wait, Tarun, you want to do it?
okay,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
go first. I was positively jumping up and down in the living room when I saw that. Because I mean, like when they first showed the wicket, you couldn't see the that it hit the wire or anything. So who was it again? Venkatesh Iyer, right? Or was it Gill?
No, I think
Gil.
it was Gil. It was Gil.
Gil, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Gil went on one knee and tried to hoik it over mid wicket. It was very very high, and I looked at. I mean, I thought we were going to drop the catch. In
Yeah.
all honesty,
First of all, I saw the height. I thought, oh my god, we're gonna drop it.
100% going to drop
And
it.
then
Yeah.
we got under it well, made the catch, and I was so happy. And there was a whole review, and I was, oh my god, that was a moment I was like, oh my god, God is working against us. Oh, this is not gonna end well.
I think you forgot that Lord is on our side.
Oh yes.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Come on.
It's a big factor.
We will get to him later.
Yes.
Let's also have some emotions to talk about there.
Lord tried to give us a Uno reverse card.
Yeah. It's such a love-hate relationship with him, honestly.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah, getting
yeah.
back to the whole spider cam thing, I think Shrikant on Tamil commentary, he summed it up very well. The point is that technology should not get in the way of the game, right? And what the spider camera contributes in terms of our viewership, yes, it's good, but at the same time, when it has this sort of effect, it could have very very easily changed the game.
Yeah.
If let's say if the middle order didn't collapse, that innings from Gill would have been absolutely crucial in getting them the win. And in a situation like that, personally, I don't think that should be the case. Like you shouldn't have a dead ball like that determining the outcome of the game. So yes, Vikas, you mentioned the Dhoni 6
World Cup. Yeah,
the World Cup one. I mean, personally, I think if we didn't have a spider cam there, then the first shot that would have gone for 6 as well, right? Yeah. So essentially, technology shouldn't get in the way of the game, That's what I feel. So in a unobtrusive way, if that was implemented, if the spider cam was implemented, sure. But here we have an example of how it can be obtrusive.
Yeah, true.
And that it's something like I don't feel comfortable with that,
Of course you don't. I mean, generally, I think no cricket fan wants to see that. But in all honesty, let's put it in hindsight. How often do you see that happening? That's the thing. You don't really see it. It's not if it were to happen 5 to 6 times within a season, then yeah, I think it's a problem. It's a problem. But the truth of the matter is, it's a rare occurrence, and unfortunately, in cricket it only happens in the big moments, and there are definitely moments. But in the
if
big
we had
night
lost,
of the big
right? Oh my! If we had lost this whole,
exactly. Let's say
Bus would have
Gill
gone on
went
a
on
whole
to
week
hit like
of analysis
some
for this.
80 or 90 run innings, then I mean it's just very very bad. It's a bad way to lose, I would say.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you completely. But okay, thankfully Venkatesh Iyer threw his wicket away, and who else took the wicket? The Lord himself. I mean, it was a bad
catch by
shot.
Jadeja as well.
Oh yeah, Jadeja was. Impeccable in the field. Absolutely impeccable.
As usual.
What
of course.
I mean,
he used his fingers to like hold it on.
Yeah, I think.
If not, it would have hit the turf.
Yeah. I mean, Ian Bishop talked about having the best, strongest fingers in the league. I mean, it might sound weird, but in truth, any other fielder might have dropped that because it didn't even hit his palm. It was towards the
fingers.
Towards its fingers, yeah. So I guess I just feel like he's just a naturally gifted fielder, lah. He does put in the work definitely, but yeah, that just shows what a good fielder Jadeja is. And simply that was just an amazing catch. There's nothing else to say about that. But yeah, so that's when the collapse actually started after Venkatesh Iyer left, and I mean it also exposed like the frailties in KKR's middle order, especially given their recent collapse. I mean, near bottling sort of 2 games. They almost bottled both the games, I would say. And yeah, I think today their luck ran out a bit. Not today, yesterday their luck ran out a bit.
They didn't go far enough to be able to bottle it.
Pretty much, yeah. I think if this was a low total, it would have been interesting. Yeah, I think it was a low chase. I still feel would have been in the game because given how fragile KKR's middle order is. But yeah, I'm looking at the scorecard. Let me just quickly take you through. Nitish Rana duck, Sunil Narayan 2, Owen Morgan 4, Dinesh Karthik 9, Shakib duck, Rahul Tripathi 2, and the only people who get into double digits is basically Shiva Mavi and Lockie Ferguson, your tailenders. Your number 9 and number 10.
The first two and the two of the last three.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I think it. I mean, that in itself should tell you that you can't chase higher than 90 odd with that kind of fragile middle order clearly. And yeah, I think in the end, to be honest, it was like a very comfortable win. It was quite anticlimactic given the first 10 overs of their first innings. But yeah, I mean, I was surprised that they bundled so fast. And to be honest, it should have been a much more comfortable victory. If
Up steps the Lord. He had other ideas.
Yes, actually, Arjun, since you started it, you can take us through it.
So I'm sitting down, right? I'm like, okay. I'm like already starting to look through my phone, look through all the tweets because it's like, to be honest, it did get kind of boring at the end because like
Yeah, I did.
it's super one-sided, and I didn't expect it to go that way. Like what Vikas said, the way they crumble was quite unexpected. At one point, I thought, okay, yeah, probably Vikas right, it's going to go down to the wire, and I don't know, maybe Shardul felt the same way. You know what? Let me give some entertainment. Let me inject some excitement. Let me inject some classic CSK shithousery. And I think he was bowling beautifully up until the point.
He got his figures was 3 overs, 3 for 21 up to that over. It was the best bowler in our team.
It's like he bowls better when I guess he's the kind of guy who bowls better when there's adversity and when he really needs to get a breakthrough. And then I guess he just took his mind off, or he lost his concentration or something. And he was trying like all kinds of variations, cross seamers, wide yorkers. Dhoni's like, huh?
I have never seen Dhoni this animated in my life.
Only the Lord can do this to Dhoni. he's like I mean even Dhoni, right? We sometimes he himself is an enigmatic character because like even as a fans, why did he just make this tactical decision? And then even him's like, why is Taco doing this? It's like, I play 5D chess, this guy is playing like 10D. I don't know. And then I was like, oh my god, don't tell me we're actually gonna bottle this. And then the next over, Bravo also he got sent for by Mavi as well. I was like,
yeah. But man, Bravo sled amazing because 1 for 29.
I think he started the fight back, honestly. He didn't get the wicket up front, but the first 2 overs he went for 8 only.
The key was the pressure, the dot ball pressure again. Because Dhoni usually brings in the spinners after the power play overs, but he decided to go for his wicket taking option instead in Dwayne Bravo, and he only considered 8 runs in the first 2 overs. And I think that was a pressure that was in the end telling, because after the top order, the KKR's middle order hasn't been so consistent in terms of the performance. So I think that was the key turning point in the second innings for this match.
Do you notice Dhoni coming out to the stumps? Like,
I think on
why
right.
Actually, why do you think so?
The rationale,
is it to stop him from coming out to hit?
Pretty much, is to basically open up another form of dismissal, which is stumping. Obviously, when Chahal is bowling 130 clicks, it's not easy. But I mean, these are international keepers; they pride themselves on these kind of things. It's just it's more of a tactical move. It's quite common to see.
It's brave, honestly.
It is. It definitely is. But yeah, it is what it is. Dhoni. Speaking of keeping, Dhoni dropped that catch.
Yeah, I thought he dropped the cover.
It was 2, right?
I also dropped. Yeah, it was. I mean, on real time it seemed like a sitter, but actually when you see in slow motion, there was a bit of wobble. I mean, maybe I'm trying to find reasons to justify a drop, but
but even with that, he should catch it.
There's definitely some movement on the ball after it hit.
Definitely.
Like, it wasn't a straightforward catch, I think. But you don't expect Dhoni to be dropping those.
Correct.
I thought he had it, honestly.
I think what happened was because there was a lot of swing in offer initially. I think the ball by right was supposed to come into his hands comfortably, but I think it moved inwards a bit. So as a result, he had to adjust his hands in that same way. But yeah, I mean, also also his age could be affected. His reflexes aren't as sharp as it used to be. So
Fair
yeah, but it's still a surprise. I think I've seen Dhoni drop one or two catches this season. There's one with Bravo, which
That one was
came
more
there was a
miscom than
miscom, yeah. But
than his
I mean, with
abilities.
Dhoni will never. I've never seen Dhoni drop a catch. That's the kind of standards he set himself. So
True.
if I were to be overly critical, I would say yeah, his fielding or his keeping has slightly deteriorated. But having said that, he's still
one of the best in the league.
He's
Okay,
still one
I
of the
think
best in the league.
up to this when he comes up for the spinners, right? I think he's still one of the best in the business. That part
Yeah.
still hasn't left him.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean,
I think so.
his stumping speed is. I don't think I've seen anyone
insane,
stump that fast.
Yep, it's insane, man. It's insane. But yeah, before we come to the end of the match, let's just talk about our bowling. I think everyone chipped in. I think if you were to concede less than the required run rate, I think you've done a good job. I look at Deepak Chahar 1 for 32. I think he'll take that 100%.
And 8 on this pitch is amazing.
Yeah,
eight
it is.
overs.
Definitely. Yeah. 2 for 29 for Joshi Hazelwood, another consistent. I think, as I said, he's an underrated T20 bowler, and yeah, he is performing for us when we need him the most. And that he doesn't waver in his line and length. Just easy. I would consider him someone like a Glenn McGrath. You know, like he's not
consistency,
nothing consistency in terms of line and length. He's not too flashy with his swing bowling or anything. Or like Yorkers or anything. It's more of just consistent line and length, hitting the correct uncomfortable length for the batsman, and as a result he creates that pressure and in turn gets wickets. So yeah, Josh Hazelwood has a fantastic game as well. Lord Thakur should have been a comfortable walk in the park. 3 for 21 in 3 overs, ended up getting 3 for 38 in 4 overs. And yeah, Sir Champion, as they like to call him now. I mean, that's what he mentioned in the
Jadoo,
post-match
right?
interview with Jadoo. Yes, Sir Champion 1 for 29 as well. I mean, it looks good on paper, but it would have been even better towards the end. But I don't think you can really put the blame on him per se. I think it was just more of Shardul Thakur. I think he sort of gave, suddenly these batsmen had this confidence that they could send anyone out of the park. I think it was more of like, yeah, if Shardul had kept it, probably his figures would have, I mean, Bravo's figures might have been better. And of course, Jadeja, always in the thick of things. Oh, yeah, speaking of Jadeja, I just remember about the catch which Chahar took. What a catch it was.
Oh yeah.
I mean, in this day and age, those kind of catches are being like a regulation catch, which is I mean, amazing. It's mind-boggling to think of boundary catches like that. I mean, the stuff these guys do at the top level of international, I mean, not international, of franchise cricket, they do it on a week in, week out basis. I mean, it's just amazing to see from a fan perspective.
I think it's almost become expected, which is mental, because that
amazing,
was not as easy as it looked.
Yeah, I mean, having played the game, I can tell you that if I take a catch like that, I mean, I'm probably, yeah, it's probably, I expect it to come on the front page of the newspaper. That's the kind of, that's the kind of rare occasion in which that happens. So yeah, I think it's amazing the standards of fielding. Players nowadays hold themselves too. But yeah, what an amazing win for CSK. I think it was a bit unexpected that it was such an easy win in the end.
I just want to bring up Rahul Tripathi. How much do you think his hamstring injury affected their innings?
Quite a lot.
Quite a bit. Okay, Arjun, go ahead.
No, because like I mean, we spoken about their middle order troubles, but out of the middle order, the two like players that are slightly in form were Nitish Rana that we got out early, and Rahul Tripathi. And I mean, he's the guy who hit the 6 of Ashwin to bring them into the game. So he would have been coming into this game like really, eager to prove that he can do it in the big moments like he did in the previous match. And yeah, it's a bit, in a way, I did kind of feel bad for him, because it was quite clear when he came out to bat, the only option was to slog, and he just couldn't do it, unfortunately.
But he still ran two. Sorry? He still ran 2 runs, right?
Yeah, I think he ran, but he's like hobbling.
Technically he limped 2 runs.
Yeah, but still, I mean, with a sore hamstring, that's amazing.
Very respectable,
very, very respectable, And yeah, I think also another point on Tripathi's absence, they had to shuffle the batting order a bit, because I think otherwise, if Tripathi wasn't injured, he would have probably gone in for. I know Narayan could have been a move. Yeah. I mean, Narayan was a move more to get some quick runs, aggressive, like what Delhi and Chennai tried to do in the other qualifier. But I think Tripathi, they might have still sent Tripathi ahead because of his recent form. And I mean, if they didn't shuffle, you never know. Maybe the top order might have stuck around for a bit longer if you have someone with more stability batting in number 4, and we could have had a very different complexion to the whole game. So these kind of things, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ifs and buts, but yeah, I think it definitely did play a part in maybe giving us such a margin of victory. I would say we would have probably still won, but maybe not. The game would have been a lot closer. That's what I feel. But yeah, I mean, one thing I have to say, the fact that it didn't come to the wire, kind of. I mean, I wish it had come to the wire and we won it. I think it would have been a more sweet and satisfying win. Definitely, I think it kind of, after a while, it was more like we already knew we were going to win. That hype had. It would have been a much more outpouring of emotion if, let's say, we had won it at the death or something like that.
In a way, the qualifier one felt more like a final. Because of how we finished it.
Crucial.
I felt happier than yesterday because it was MS and that photo finish, it's always
I mean, that's the thing of experience. They know that some teams might take it easy. I'm not saying Delhi necessarily took it easy, but I mean, trying to get the job done in the first qualifier itself was crucial. Who knows, if CSK had lost that qualifier, we might not even have made it to the final, in all honesty.
It's honestly, given that we have played at Sharjah against KKR, I think we would have struggled quite a lot.
We would have struggled against the spinners. So yeah, I think that's just like the experience of Dhoni. And yeah, I think let's just have like a final discussion on CSK's tournament so far. I think the fact that the guy the only captain who isn't an active member in international cricket won the trophy is mind-boggling. I mean, the guy is retired and he's still winning. He's still winning trophies for fun. And this is considering the fact that everyone ripped into CSK last season, having finished bottom of the table.
It's the only chance to rip into us.
Yeah. And then we came in next season and
business as usual.
Business as usual. We just won the tournament as if there was, it's just like it was a walk in the park, to be very honest. It really was.
It was damn funny because I was watching on YouTube, because they were showing all the pundits the predictions before the IPL starting, and everybody would say, CSK is going to finish 7th, 8th. The only person who backed us to finish in the playoffs was Ian Bishop.
Okay.
And even then, he was 4th. It wasn't 2nd.
For a second, I thought you were going to say Sanjay Manjrekar. I was going to get a heart attack.
No. He will never achieve that kind of intelligence, unfortunately. But it was it was. I think more than the final moment, it was more satisfying that we proved them wrong in such a convincing manner. And I think that's just, I don't know. I feel like our franchise, our management is just a level above everyone else, except maybe Mumbai. In terms of how we just get the best out of the players that we have. On paper, we discussed this a lot of times. We are not exactly the strongest team. And also how solution-oriented our management is. If you look at last season, it's like they almost look at the batting. Okay, so where are we most lacking? I think we had the lowest run rate in 2020 in the middle overs. So they said, okay, let's go and get someone who can come in at number 3 and keep that run rate up. So we go out and get Mo Ali. And he's also someone who could have bowled on Chepok's surface quite easily. So that's a 2-in-1. Then you look at our bowlers. So what's the profile of bowler that we're missing the most? An out pacer who can trouble batsmen, and we got that in Josh Hazelwood. And his consistency, as you said, dot ball pressure, very, very important. And that, kind of made the difference for us in those big moments.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's the fact that they are willing to look at what they can do with what they have, instead of, every season, okay, let's change everything again and again. And knowing that this was the last year of the auction cycle, they made sure that the core members they had last year, they made sure that they made them perform better this year. And that's exactly what happened. And that's why we're winners. Yeah,
I think that's perfectly summed up by Arjun. I think nothing, enough said. I think what a tournament it's been. I know we've only covered the sort of the last few matches. I would love to cover, week in, week out, but unfortunately time doesn't help us. We don't have the time to cover it week in, week out. But I think we did enjoy ourselves in the coverage of the past week. And I think next, our cricketing content will probably shift towards the World T20. I think we'll do a preview episode. We'll see if time permits. We will do a preview episode. Otherwise, we will be covering key matches within the tournament itself. So do look forward to that. But otherwise, it's been wonderful 10 episodes with you guys. Thanks so much for your support. I think our cricketing channel is something we don't do as often, but we definitely have just as much fun doing. And we hope you guys enjoy it as much as we do. And before we end the episode, Tarun, take it away.
So like Vika said, we do hope you enjoy it as much as we do. And if you do, please do follow us on Instagram. We are there at the Next Team SG. Also follow us on TikTok at the Next Team SG as well. And please do subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify. We are on both these places as the Next Team podcast. All of this is really going to help us out. And also, it's a special feature that we have on Spotify. We're going to ask you questions there. You can vote for your best players. You can answer our questions. We really want to see what you say. And you can stand a chance to get featured on our Instagram page as well. So do stay tuned for that.
Yep. Yeah, listen to Tarun, guys, as usual. Anyway, so thanks so much, guys, for your support. We'll see you in the next episode of the Next Team podcast. Bye-bye.
Ciao, guys.